and HARP, H-A-R-P.
Okay, we'll get that RT. Is it RT or is it something else? Yeah, that's not RT. So I'll have to look into that and see if we can find that video. What else is on your mind?
Yeah, my grandparents on my dad's side escaped from Russia like around 1918, and me and my dad always used to have long discussions on how Russia was, becoming more like America, and America was going toward Russia. This was 30 years ago, and I wish he was alive to see that their Formula One race cars running around the Red Square, and they had a big crane with a bungee car going up and down, and people getting in it right outside the Red Square. And the Russians are finally, I know they're controlled by the mafia, but they're finally starting to get some money going and some things going. And it would tear me apart to see us to go to war, with the Russians, and it would be deadly for both sides. The Russians are a totally different race of people. They're Slavs, and they could cut our heads off. They're bloodthirsty.
Well, I appreciate your call. I think all humans have the capability to be bloodthirsty. The Russians are certainly smart. Now, they're very scientific. Now, let's expand on this and look at what you're getting into. I'm no fan of Vladimir Putin or Medvedev or any of these people. All I know is the Russian government pays people to have children and is anti-eugenics. Okay? And that's the difference right there. Yeah, it's a mafia. Yeah, it's corrupt. But they don't want their people to all disappear off the face of the earth. The globalists that run us are sick. By the way, I did find the RT article he mentioned. We'll cover it when we come back. And we'll get to Jay, Joe, Lyndon, and Ryan. Stay with us. We'll be back.
When the going gets tough.
Okay, let's go ahead now and go back to your calls. And then we're going to pull up that article again or print it off where RT did ask the question, did Western groups sabotage the Russian space probe to Mars? I know that governments basically do that to each other. The U.S. government a couple years ago accused the Chinese of firing lasers at our satellites. And there was a big high-level diplomatic fight over that, or row, as they call it. Jay in Utah, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hello, Alex. I had just a quick question for you and then maybe a comment or suggestion. When you first mentioned the article on the Drudge Report, Ron Paul goes for Newt's throat, you mentioned it should have, that's the kind of thing that should send that video into the millions of views, which I completely agree, and it's good for, to see that kind of visibility. I noticed that article, that YouTube video, the number of views on that does not increment, and I was just wondering.
No, that's a big misconception. It's caching. It's a caching issue with YouTube and other systems. When it goes to 301 views, it's only on one server, basically, with YouTube, and it's low quality. Once they know a video is a bigger video, it takes about 5 hours to a day to update, and that's why the view counter jumps. It's not a real-time system because you're not on one computer. That video is out on clouds and content distribution systems, and so that's a caching system, especially when you put a video up and it gets like 100,000 views in an hour. We've had that happen. They might freeze it for a day sometimes as the computers check that it's not some automated spam system to game the YouTube system. But the reason I was mentioning Drudge having it as the top link, the point is that this is really becoming a big news esse of how corrupt and out of control Newt Gingrich is. And I was just saying thanks to Drudge for helping Ron Paul out. Matt Drudge obviously is a patriot and is really over the years getting more and more awake to the full spectrum of what's happening, and has really been exposing all these Republican candidates that are globalist. And that's a big deal for what is the #1 internet news site and the #1 conservative news site. I'll assure you the establishment does not like it. I will assure you that the insiders are not happy about the fact that Matt Drudge, probably more than anybody other than this show, has helped torpedo all of these rhino Republicans. That's a big deal.
Well, it's as much as they'd like to deny, that people are waking up and, pretend it's not happening. This is the kind of thing that they can't deny, and they can't keep a lid on this type of information.
Well, that's it. Yeah, go ahead.
Just a comment for you was, I know that you have I've really enjoyed the variety of guests that you have on the show. I do know that from personal experience, I know when you had author Naomi Wolf on the show, for example, I had a friend who was actually kind of surprised that person was on, and pleasantly surprised. But it does a paradigm shift for people, when you have different people on, like Roseanne Barr or Naomi Wolf or others. Maybe it gives something people to share and say, hey, I know you like this author, or I know you like this performer or lecturer. Did you happen to catch them on InfoWars or that kind of a thing? I just think that it is another way for people to introduce the show.
No, I agree with you. And then some people say, well, why are you having a liberal on? Or why are you having some other person that you don't agree with on? That's the whole point of getting dialogue going. I believe in my ideas, and I believe they're stronger than theirs, and I want to engage them as humans and say, hey, let's get past left and right. Let's talk about right and wrong. Let's talk about liberty and freedom. The system wants everybody in their camps hating the others. That's divide and conquer. So we never have a real discussion and really understand things and really turn things around. Roseanne Barr and Naomi Wolf, they have no future in this new world order. Neither does the children of these mainline Republicans. And so that's why I'm doing that. I really appreciate your call. More calls coming up. Here's the article out of RT. Did U.S. climate weapon knock out Russian probe? Russian space experts are struggling to decode fresh telemetry signals received from the stricken Phobos Grunt probe. Meanwhile, rumors are circulating that America's ionosphere research site in Alaska caused the spacecraft failure. A total rumor. They wouldn't use HAARP to do that. They've got all sorts of microwave and other weapon systems that could. We'll be back. Okay, while we're getting Wayne Madsen on the line, I want to remind you that I'm going to play clips of the Colbert Report from last night on Comedy Central, where they attacked Governor Jesse Ventura and myself and made a big joke out of investigating the Denver International Airport, and then basically implied that we think the world is going to end in 2012, or roughly a year from now, in late December of next year. I have always said that that's a fraud, that it is not the end of the world, but you watch, when it's not the end of the world, I will be attacked for being wrong, saying it would be the end of the world. And they just mix it all together. It's very funny, but that's why good humor is so powerful to sell a lie. The piece starts with an old lady there saying, hi, welcome to the Denver International Airport. And then they have her morph into a reptoid vampire lizard. Pretty ridiculous. So I'm going to play that. If you're a Prisonplanet.tv viewer, you'll obviously be able to watch it. For radio listeners, you'll be able to hear the audio, and I'll break down the propaganda. Then we'll also get that posted by tomorrow for everybody at Infowars.com. Because not only do we stream the show live at Prisonplanet.tv, we then also post almost all of Alex Jones Live, this daily radio/TV show, and the nightly news every evening at 7. The Prisonplanet.tv members get to see when it airs live, when it airs the first time, and then restreams throughout the evening and is archived. Then we post almost all of it there at the Alex Jones channel on YouTube, with 160 million views on that one channel alone. So those of you that are Prisonplanet.tv members, you get the high quality, all the films, the higher quality podcast, commercial free, my book, Paul Watson's book, everything in one place. But even better, you are then supporting our entire news operation to have this posted on thousands of video sites across the web every week, and it reaches millions of people conservatively on those news video websites alone. And we've already got some cable systems around the country that are picking it up off the internet or downloading the file after it airs live and playing it. And I'm just in the beta testing mode right now, but we're moving into getting more reporters, a few more crew members, thanks to your support. And then we'll go ahead and I think I'm going to go ahead and just make it an hour long every night. We've been beta testing 2 hours, 30 minutes, an hour, and then really take it to the next level. But that's what we're doing here. Never resting on our laurels. The only area I haven't gotten into is publishing, even though I've had a lot of big New York publishers call me. They want me to do like Glenn Beck does, have a new book every 6 months that I don't write, that has my name on it. And it makes a lot of money, and maybe I should do it just because of that and then use that money to fund this operation. The point is it takes a lot of time, even when it's being ghostwritten, and then it comes out and it's a huge hit if 100,000 people read it. I mean, whoop-de-doo. I can make a YouTube video today in 10 minutes that'll be seen by 100,000 people, guaranteed. I can drive down the road shooting a YouTube talking about points and 100,000 are going to watch it. I make videos that 35, 40 million people watch. And in the final equation, it's not about money, but I do need the money to be secure and strong and be able to fight lawsuits or attacks and to expand this operation, not just keep it where it's at in the face of this depression. So I might actually get into that area because they're knocking down my doors. The problem is I've been through this once and refused to let the book be published because the ghostwriters that people get you, just it isn't what you really believe. So I don't know how to do that. All right, side issue. I'm now digressing. Coming up, I'm going to play the Colbert Report from last night and give you an example of propaganda and demonization. The latest on the TSA. NASA telescope confirms alien planet inhabitable zone. That's interesting. I'm going to break that down. Europe is setting itself up for a decade-long recession. You mean depression. Iran's Revolutionary Guard prepares for war. Now it's admitted that drone was shot down. We're going to break that down and also take your phone calls. But I'm going to get to the Colbert Report, and I'm also going to play part of this Bruce Fine breakdown of a speech he gave, very powerful. Kind of on a Bruce Fine jag right now because I had him on yesterday, and then I happened to see my video, my interview with him posted yesterday, and saw the other suggested videos and started watching his speeches this morning. And he just really has a way with historical breakdowns, so we're going to play that. But right now, let's go ahead and go to Wayne Madsen. Wayne Madsen is a Washington, D.C.-based investigative journalist, author, and syndicated columnist. He's written for the Village Voice, the Progressive, Counterpunch, Online Journal, Corp Watch, Multinational Monitor, News Insider, These Times, The American Conservatives. His columns have appeared in the Miami Herald, Houston Chronicle, Philadelphia Inquirer, Columbus Dispatch, Sacramento Bee, Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and others. And whenever you're watching C-SPAN in years past, I've seen him over and over again, watching some international spy event or national security hearing, you'll see Wayne Madsen back there reporting, back there writing notes. And so he's always got a lot of hot issues, a lot of times over-the-horizon info. You hear it from Wayne first. I got a lot of questions on Iran, on Syria, on Libya, on the Iran attack, on the police state. But it's always interesting to ask Wayne what he's working on right now first. WayneMadsenReport.com. Wayne, good to have you here with us. What are you looking at first right now?
Well, I have been checking out this new, what we could call the Obama Doctrine, and it's under the rubric of something called Mass Atrocity Prevention, MAP, otherwise known as Responsibility to Protect, R2P. This is all coming out of the National Security Council, particularly a woman named Samantha Power, whose husband you, of course, are familiar with, Cass Sunstein, who is Obama's information czar, propaganda czar. But this is basically something that came out of the George Soros-funded think tank that basically gives the United States the cover of humanitarian intervention to launch aggressive wars. And we've seen it already play out in Libya. We're seeing it play out in Syria. We're also going to see it play out in Iran. But that's more of a military operation right now than trying to undermine various groups, undermine the government with various domestic opposition groups. And we're seeing it play out in Russia right